Greetings, gamers. Agent SN and Nintendo. What is left to be said about Nintendo? They're a company I talk about over and over and over again on this channel. And I've talked about basically a bazillion of their franchises. But what are my favorites of each of them? Or at least the ones I've played? Well, today, find that out. I'm Agent S, as always. Remember that like button. Well, remember that to that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the Discord server if you haven't already. But let's get on with the video. Alright, I don't think I need to explain this one, but Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I mean, what left is there to be said about these two games? These are the two games that are the most important to me. Although my favorite game ever is Final Fantasy VII. Although Final Fantasy VII is the most important game to me, well, actually not the most important. One of the most important. These two games are the most important, despite Final Fantasy VII being my favorite game of all time. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 early games are the most important to me. They're the reason why I consider myself a gamer now. Or the reason why I started YouTube last year. These games are the reason why I've played so many games in my life and have met good people from them and played so many games. These two games really mean a ton to me, so what left there to be said about these? I've praised these two games on my channel a bazillion times. Now let's get on to the next one. Alright, so next up is Mario Kart DS. Mario Kart DS is absolutely a masterpiece. I've said before, this is my favorite Mario Kart game. And why is it my favorite? Well, it is absolutely perfect. I mean, it has tons of tracks. Well, it has the same amount as, what can I re-say? This game is absolutely perfect. I mean, the music, first of all, is one of the best aspects of the game. And it absolutely slaps. And the tracks are so amazing. I mean, Wario Stadium, Yoshi Falls, Delfino Square, Luigis Mansion, Waluigi Pinball. Those tracks are incredibly unique, absolutely amazing, and are very new ideas. And the character selection is pretty good, even though it's not as good as the character selection in other Mario Kart games, like in Wii or Mario Kart 8. Character selection is pretty good, and this game also introduced retro tracks, introduced online play. All those are some very good and welcome additions. And the gameplay is definitely very good, and the gameplay is definitely a step up from the older games, even though the older ones were already really amazing. And this game also has a mission mode. Yes, a mission mode. The first Mario Kart game to ever do so. And the graphics are pretty good for a DS game. The gameplay is absolutely amazing. And I love its tracks, its items, its mission mode things and stuff. They're absolutely amazing. And this is my favorite in the entire series for all these reasons. Definitely play this game if you haven't already. It is absolutely amazing. Alright, so now we're on to the Mario Party series. And if you're a Mario Party fan, we probably know that the newer Mario Party games have gone kind of downhill. I've personally mostly only played the classics, so mostly 1 through 8. So pretty much the Hudson Soft developed ones. I haven't really touched most of the Indie Cube developed ones. But my favorite Mario Party game ever is Mario Party 4 for the GameCube. This game, truly excellent, and I absolutely love its character selection, and the mini games are some of the best in the series, in my opinion, and so are the boards, and the gameplay is definitely a lot better, and Hudson Soft definitely deserved a raise back in the day for what they did to this game. And this game had so much ambition, and so many good ideas, and this game truly has a lot to it. And it's a shame that this game is really expensive online, just like a lot of GameCube games, because, you know, the minigames are very good, the boards are absolutely amazing, and had some amazing ideas for the series. And that's all why Mario Party 4 is my favorite. Yep. And the music here is pretty good as well. Though the other games do have better soundtracks, but this one's still an excellent game. Alright, so next up is Mario and Luigi. Now for my favorite Mario and Luigi game, I gotta go with Bowser's Inside Story, which is pretty much a lot of people's favorites, and I'm no exception. This game, also truly a masterpiece, and it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And it has so many ideas they wouldn't expect, I mean, it has Bowser they get to play as, and a really unique and an interesting story. Although it's inspired kind of by a Magic School Bus episode, I really like the idea of Bowser eating some kind of mushroom that was given to him by Fawful, who returns from Superstar Saga, and he inhales Mario and Luigi into his body, and although that might sound gross, it's actually not when you get used to it in the game. As this game is very fun. I love that I get to switch between the Mushroom Kingdom and play as Bowser and explore the story from his perspective and explore it from Mario and Luigi's perspective inside of his body. It's absolutely amazing, and the dual screens work pretty well here. And the Bowser fights that you get, the giant Bowser fights that you get like 4 times in the game are really fun too. And the new ideas I had in Return of Fawful is definitely pretty good, and the story is absolutely amazing, and it's definitely one of the best versions of the Mushroom Kingdom in it. Truly excellent game. I highly recommend it. And if you haven't played it yet, I definitely recommend getting the 3DS version. Definitely get it. Let's go on with the next one. So next up is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door for my favorite Paper Mario game. Hence, it's also Gamer27's favorite game of all time. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is also another masterpiece. I mean, this video is kind of a lot of masterpieces, keep in mind. This game is everything an RPG with Mario should be. It has perfect characters that have never been in Mario before, and new speeches that you wouldn't expect in this series. And the gameplay is really great, and I really like the way that it and the story is absolutely amazing. It's definitely my favorite Mario spin-off of all time, and and to be honest, I like this game more than a lot on the mainline Mario games. This game is truly one of the best RPGs Nintendo has made, and one of the best games on the GameCube. And it's a shame this game is really expensive nowadays, just like other GameCube games, because it deserves a remaster on the Switch. And it's a truly amazing game, and from the enemies, the music, the characters, bosses, the attacks, the characters, the story, which is like the best part of the game. And the location of Rogueport and stuff, and its theme of searching for treasure is absolutely amazing and very unique. Now let's go on to the next one. Alright, ignore any background noises you might hear in this video. But next up is Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion 3 is definitely another masterpiece, another great game. Luigi's Mansion 1 on the GameCube is already a great game. And the second one, I did prefer Luigi's Mansion, the first game, because it was more... Because it was less linear. As Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, or Luigi's Mansion 2 if you live in Europe and are watching this. It was a good game, however, I don't know why it was mission-based and stuff. But Luigi's Mansion 3 he took a lot of ideas from Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 and combined them as adding so many unique ideas. As they now have the new HD graphics are absolutely amazing, and the new attacks you can do with the ghost and the Portobus G00 is really cool. I really like too how they brought back Luigi from the remake of the first Luigi's Mansion, and I really love its new characters and its new story, and how it's about Luigi trying to explore a haunted hotel. As in the first game, you just explored one mansion, in the second, you explored 5, and now you're exploring a massive hotel. And it's really cool, and the bosses are really interesting, and the new areas of it are really cool, and they each have their own themes. This game is truly the best Luigi's Mansion game out of 3 currently. I definitely can't wait to see what Nintendo will do when they release Luigi's Mansion 4, even though it likely won't happen until the next Nintendo console. Let's get on to... And now we're on to Yoshi. And for my favorite Yoshi game, I'm going to go with Craft World. World was already a great game, but I like Craft World a little more. Craft World is a pretty good game on the Switch, and definitely one of the best platformers you can find on the Switch. And which the game is pretty similar to Woolly World, except for the yarn theme and stuff is replaced with an arts and crafts style. But it's honestly really cool, and the new and the platforming mechanics are really cool, and the music is really amazing. And I really like its bosses and its themes as well. It's definitely the best Yoshi game. Let's go on to... Alright, so next up is WarioWare. And here we go to WarioWare Touched. As our next one is the Wario series, the next series we're going to be talking about here. And for my favorite Wario game, I'm going to go with WarioWare Touched. Now I've played actually I've played 3 Wario games. I've played Wario Land 3, which I still need to play the rest. I've played WarioWare, the original, or at least I played the GameCube port. Forgot what it was called. I think it was like WarioWare Inc. Make a Party Games, whatever. But my favorite out of the ones I've played is WarioWare Touched. WarioWare Touched is very fun. The minigames and the music here are pretty amazing, and introduced some iconic characters to the series, like Ashley, for example. And the music's pretty good, and the micro games are really amazing. This game had some really interesting ideas, and I really hope that I really hope that Nintendo makes a new WarioWare on the Switch. And this game is truly great, and I absolutely love the micro games and the characters and everything, and it has so many interesting ideas, and it's definitely one of the most unique and fun games on the DS. Now let's go on to our last Mario spin-off we're going to talk about today. Alright, so next up is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I talked about this game in my last video about the top 10 first-party ports and remakes on the Switch. But Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, excellent game. I mean, the music's very good. The level design is some of the best I've seen in a 2D platform. The graphics are really amazing. The characters are very unique and stuff. And the 5 playable characters they have are really cool. And I love the gameplay, the bosses, everything about this game, truly, truly great. And it's definitely my favorite of the Donkey Kong series, which I've played all the Donkey Kong Country games. I've played the arcade Donkey Kong games, but my favorite out of them is, of course, this one, Tropical Freeze. Return is already great, but Tropical Freeze took it and added a new story, new gameplay, new everything. And Retro Studios crafted the perfect sequel, and it's definitely a really underrated gem too. And I highly recommend you go check this out. Which I recommend you get the Switch version. Now let's go on to... Alright, now we've gotten the Mario spin-offs out of the way. But next up we got... Alright. So for our first non-Mario game that we're talking about here on this video, next up is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda series was already great, but Breath of the Wild took it and brought it to the unexpected and truly crafted a masterpiece. And this is definitely a game that's one of my favorites of all time, and the story is just really, really great. I like how it takes place in a kind of post-apocalyptic Hyrule, kind of. As he'll be saving Calamity Ganon from destroying Hyrule. Well, actually, it's not post-apocalyptic. Actually, scratch that. But I really like the themes of this game, and the gameplay is the best entire series. I love how it's all about open world and exploration, how it has freedom to it, and the characters are truly great. And this game is by far the best in the entire series. If you haven't tried this game yet, definitely go do so. This game really changed the Zelda formula up in a great way. Yeah. Alright, so next up is Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, my favorite Pokemon game. And also one of my favorite games of all time. Pokemon games have always been great, even though the new games are pretty polarizing. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver is what I personally think is the most unique of the whole series, and has some new gameplay mechanics, like, and stuff. And the Johto region is the most interesting out of them all, and the character's really cool. And I really love too how you get to go back to Kanto, the region of the first generation during the post game. And the new Pokemon here are personally some of the best in the series, and everything. And the gameplay has a ton of new tweaks to it and stuff. And the story here is pretty good, and a lot of things they liked about Gen 1 are back and stuff. And yeah, this is truly an excellent game, and definitely one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And the Johto region is very interesting too. Now let's go on to... What's better than one game? 2 games. What's better than 2 games? 3 games. And next up here is Metroid Prime Trilogy. The Metroid games are already great, but Nintendo and Retro Studios decided to take the 2D formula for their next installment on the GameCube, and decided to and for its sequel that was also on the GameCube, and then the third game on the Wii. And if those games, they decided to take the 2D formula and turn it into first person, and the first person gameplay here is really cool, and this is something the most fitting for a 3D Metroid game. It's everything a Metroid game should be. The first person gameplay is absolutely amazing, and a lot of things that people liked about the 2D games are here, but in first person and in glorious 3D graphics. And I really like how they kind of made it a first person shooter, and I really like the cross genre vibe that this game has with it. This game is both an action adventure game and a first person shooter at the same time, or I guess this whole trilogy is. And the games are very fun, and I really hope that they remaster them on. They remastered the whole trilogy on the Switch. As I'm not just including one game, I'm including all 3 here. All 3 of them. All 3 are incredible games, and I definitely can't wait for Metroid Prime 4. So now we're on to Fire Emblem. And my favorite Fire Emblem game, now I've only played 3 Fire Emblem games. I've played the Blazing Blade, which is the first one that got released outside Japan, which is just called Fire Emblem here in North America. And then there was Awakening on the 3DS, which is the one that got me more into the series. But the one that truly got me into the series, the one that made me consider myself a Fire Emblem fan, is Fire Emblem Three Houses. For a while, the Fire Emblem series wasn't for me. I played Blazing Blade, I liked it, but I couldn't really finish it because I'm not really a big fan of strategy games. But I tried Awakening after I heard about the casual mode, and I loved it, and made me more interested in the series. And I played Three Houses, and then everything changed. And I now consider myself a Fire Emblem fan, and I really want to try out the rest of the series, because this game is absolutely a masterpiece. I really like how they set it in a school. And I really like the graphics too, and the Three Houses mechanic is pretty good. And the characters have really good personalities, and the story is very good too. Even though the game has 4 different stories, which 2 of them you get inside the Black Eagles route, or there's a secret route inside the Black Eagles route. And the characters here are very good. I really like how you get to interact with them. And I really like, too, how whenever you're on days off, whenever you're not fighting on a battlefield, I really like, too, how you get to explore the monastery at Garrick Mach and stuff. And it's very fun. And the Fulton region is pretty interesting. And the gameplay is very good. The story is very cool. And all 4 stories are very interesting. And it's definitely a must-play. And the characters are very good, and the music here is absolutely great, and everything. And this is definitely one of my favorite games now on the Switch. And I highly recommend this game. Alright, now we're on to the next franchise. So next up is Xenoblade. Now there's currently 4 Xenoblade Chronicles games. There's of course the first one, which released on the Wii originally, and then it got a port on the new 3DS, and then it got remade on the Switch, which is the version I played. And then there was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which was made exclusively for the Switch, and there's also a prequel to that called Torna the Golden Country, which is available both as a standalone game and as DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then there's Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. Now, out of those games, I've only played the first 2 out of those. Now, I have all of them except for X. I've played Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I've played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, though I'm currently still playing through it, as I haven't beaten it yet. And once I beat it, then I'll go play Torna the Golden Country, and I'll play Xenoblade Chronicles X at some other time, don't know when. But all that aside, though, my favorite out of the whole series is definitely the first game as Xenoblade Chronicles, which I played the remake on the Switch, the Definitive Edition. This game is absolutely a masterpiece, one of my favorite games of all time. The characters are really amazing, and Monado is a very interesting weapon, and it's basically like this game's version of the Master Sword, and the plot's really cool too. And I really like how it's like I really like how it's about a war between these giant Titan things called Bionis and Mechonis. And the exploration of it is really fun and everything. The story is absolutely amazing. It's definitely one of the best stories I've seen in a video game. And this is truly an excellent game. I highly, highly recommend it. And the graphics on the Switch version especially are pretty well, and the music is really good, even though I do think the second game has a better soundtrack. And I really hope that you guys play this game, as this game is truly great, and highly recommend it. And the gameplay is very good, of course, but the gameplay and story will keep you hooked, of course. And now let's go on to... Alright, so next up is FZero. Now, I've only played one FZero game, and that's the original, which I played on Switch Online. So I'm very interested in the other games. I really want to try FZero X. I want to try Maximum Velocity, GP Legend. I want to try GX, and I really hope to make a new FZero game on the Switch. Please, Nintendo. You have ambition. But yeah, my favorite FZero game is the original because it's the only one I've played. Alright. Now for my favorite Punch-Out game, well, actually, I haven't finished the slide yet. Let me go finish it first. Alright, now we're on to Punch-Out. Okay, I finished the slide. But anyway, now there's 3 Punch-Out games. There's just the NES one, and then there's Super Punch-Out, which I played on the SNES Classic and on Switch Online. And I still need to play the Wii one, but my favorite out of the 2 I've played is, of course, Super Punch-Out. Super Punch-Out's a really fun game. The gameplay is pretty good and stuff, and it's definitely better than the original. And it's a shame that Nintendo hasn't made a new Punch-Out game in over 10 years. I mean, it's been 12 years since the Wii game, and I really hope they make a new one on the Switch. Come on, Nintendo. But here's one that I'm actually going to go in depth about. So they didn't really go in depth about Super Punch-Out or F-Zero. Alright, now I've played every mainline Kirby game, but my favorite out of them all is Return to Dreamland for the Wii, which is also called Kirby Adventure Wii in Europe, for those who are European and watching my videos. But all that aside, though, Kirby Return to Dreamland, or Adventure Wii if you're in Europe, is a great game. And now I've played every mainline Kirby game, and every mainline one, and Return to Dreamland is by far my favorites. The game is one of the most unique Kirby games. The level design is the best in the entire series. I really love the multiplayer aspect of it, and I really like how you get like multiple. I really like how you get these cool attacks with the characters, and how you get like special abilities with them. It's absolutely amazing, and the gameplay here is very good. Definitely the best in the series, and the graphics are pretty good too for a Wii game. It's definitely one of my favorite. It's definitely one of my favorite 2D platformers on the Wii, and the gameplay is just very good and by far the best part. And the story is pretty good too, and the bosses are really amazing, and it introduced some icons to the series like Magalore, and yeah, the game is very fun, and I highly recommend you get this game, and I hope it gets remastered on the Switch. Come on, Nintendo. But yeah, Return to Dreamland, excellent game. And the gameplay is very good, has a good story, bosses are pretty good, it's very fun, and yeah. Alright, and now we're on to Star Fox, which I've played the original Star Fox, I've played Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, and I've played about 30 minutes of adventures on the GameCube, but I've played Star Fox 64, and that last one is my favorite one. Star Fox 64 is easily the most classic, the best of the series, and it's definitely one of those iconic games on the N64. But the version I highly recommend you play is the 3DS one. The 3DS one is even better. Now, this game is really short, and you can easily play it in one sitting, but it's very fun to play through over and over again, even though I've only beaten it once. So like I said, the game's pretty short, as you can beat it in like one sitting. But the game is really fun, the gameplay is very cool, and the multiplayer is really nice too, and this game has a lot to it, and I really hope that we get a new Star Fox game on the Switch. As the gameplay here is just really amazing, and I love the bosses and stuff. The worlds are pretty good. The story's nice. The gameplay is by far the best part. I like how it introduced multiple vehicles. I like how, aside from the R-Wing, I like how you get the Landmaster, and more. And it's pretty fun. And I definitely recommend it. Let's go on to Alright, now we're on to Animal Crossing, which I'm a big Animal Crossing fan. I have played every single mainline and spin-off Animal Crossing game. Yes, I've even played Amiibo Festival. All that aside, though, my favorite is definitely New Horizons, which is a lot of people's favorite, and pretty much almost every Animal Crossing fan's favorite. I mean, this game is truly masterpiece. This is, and it's definitely one of the best games you can play right now on the Switch, and definitely in my top 10 Switch games. The Animal Crossing games were already great, but this one takes it to the next level by putting you in a deserted island and making you explore it and build it and basically and basically take it over and control it, and it's very fun, and the gameplay here is really nice and stuff. The graphics are very good, and this game has so much to it, definitely, as I'll be spending tons and tons of time in this game. If you haven't played this yet, definitely go do so. But let's get on to Alright, now we're on to Smash Bros. My favorite Smash Bros game is one you probably expected, but yeah, Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've talked about this game a lot on this channel. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I mean, Smash Bros. Games were already great, but Ultimate took it to basically the next level. I mean, and this game succeeded and surpassed all my expectations. I wanted Smash Ultimate to be the best one yet and the biggest one yet, and it succeeded them and surpassed them. I was not expecting them to make everyone here. Yes, any character that has been in Smash Bros. At least once is in this game. It has over 80 characters, and it has all but 16 stages. That is absolutely amazing, and the modes are pretty good too. And World of Light has a pretty good story mode, even though I do like the subspace emissary from Brawl more. And the gameplay here is just absolutely amazing, and this game has a ton of variety with characters, and it has some DLC characters too that are all pretty good, and other movesets are pretty good and stuff, and they all could play well and control well and stuff, and this game is the highest selling fighting game for a reason. Smash Ultimate, go buy the game if you haven't already. This game is worth the $60 and the $55 to get all 11 DLC fighters that are currently available. Even though Piranha Plant's an extra couple dollars. But all that aside, though, this game, excellent game. What else do I need to say about it? I mean, this game is the perfect Smash Bros. Game. What else do I gotta say? And next up here is Splatoon. Now, there's only 2 Splatoon games, and I've played both of them. I've played Splatoon 1, of course, but pretty much almost every Splatoon fan is going to say that the second one is their favorite. But of course, Splatoon 3 is going to dethrone it in 2022. But all that aside, though, Splatoon 2, excellent game. Of course, Splatoon 3 is going to be even better when that happens, which is going to be next year. Splatoon 2 is an excellent game. I mean, and the first one was already good, but second one took it to the next level by adding tons of things new. I mean, and the gameplay is even better than ever, and the new story modes, they have 2 of them now, one of which is DLC. They even added the option to play as an Octoling. Who would expect that? This game had so much unexpected, but in a good way. This game is truly, and I mean truly, one of the best shooters you can play nowadays. And truly a good game. And the gameplay here is really, really good. But we'll have to see how things are when Splatoon 3 releases, which is going to be even better. Alright, next up is Pikmin. I've played all 3 mainline Pikmin games the whole way through. I've played Pikmin 1, and and I've gotten all but one chip parts in that entire playthrough. I've played Pikmin 2 the whole way through and 100% it. Both those two games were really amazing. Pikmin 3 is where I personally think the series really, really shines the most. Pikmin 3, absolutely a masterpiece. I mean, Pikmin 1 was already a great game. Pikmin 2, even better. 3, I mean, it has new characters and new story and stuff, and the story is pretty good. And the worlds are so fun to explore and stuff. This game, truly great game. Now, I don't want to make this video too long, as this video is already like almost 40 minutes. But that's it for this video. I will see you guys next time. Agent S out.